She finds out, and the world stops. It's not a dramatic movie pause. It's literal. Her brain freezes, her body becomes heavy, and for a few seconds she can't even breathe properly. Could have been a message on his phone, a drunken confession, a photo, an anonymous call. It doesn't matter how it reached her. What matters is that now she knows. And everything she believed about him, about the two of them, about their relationship, crumbles in a matter of seconds. She cries. She screams. She swears she'll leave, that she'll never look at his face again, that it's over. But then he appears, with tears in his eyes, saying it was a mistake, that she's the love of his life, that he'll do anything to win back her trust. And against all logic, against the advice of all her friends, against her own internal voice screaming leave, she stays. And she forgives. And while she tries to rebuild something that was destroyed, a part of her whispers, "Why can't I just leave? What's wrong with me?" This is the silent and shameful pain of women who forgive infidelity. And today we're diving into the brutal psychology behind this choice. Because it's not weakness, it's not lack of self-love, and it's definitely not stupidity. It's a complex web of trauma, conditioning, biology, and psychological patterns so deep she didn't even know they existed. And without understanding what's really happening when she forgives, she'll spend the rest of her life either blaming herself for staying or repeating the pattern with someone else. Let's start by dismantling the judgment she makes of herself. She doesn't forgive because she's weak. She forgives because her brain is in psychological survival mode. And this has a name in neuroscience: cognitive dissonance. When she discovers the infidelity, two realities collide in her mind. I love this person and built a life with them. This person betrayed me and destroyed me. These two truths cannot coexist without causing unbearable psychological suffering. So her brain does what it does best. It distorts reality to reduce the conflict. She starts minimizing. It was only once. He was drunk. She doesn't mean anything to him. At least he confessed. She starts rationalizing. All relationships go through crises. Nobody's perfect. I haven't been the best partner either. She even takes on part of the blame. Maybe if I had been more attentive, maybe if we had more intimacy, I kind of pushed him to this. And by doing this, she's not being fair to him. She's desperately trying to maintain her mental sanity. Because accepting the complete truth, that the person she loves was capable of betraying her, of lying to her face, of putting her at emotional and even physical risk, would be too devastating to process all at once. So she forgives, not because she's moved past it, but because she doesn't yet have the strength to face the whole truth. Now the question arises, why does she specifically do this? Why do other women end things and she can't? Because almost always this pattern has roots that go far beyond this relationship. If she grew up seeing infidelity being normalized, a father who cheated, a mother who forgave and stayed, her brain filed this away as this is how love works. Love hurts. Love requires sacrifice. Love means forgiving the unforgivable. If she grew up in an environment where her emotional needs were constantly invalidated, where they told her you're exaggerating, it wasn't that serious, forgive and forget, she learned that her pain isn't reason enough to set boundaries. If she grew up with fear of abandonment, absent parents, instability, rejection, she learned early that it's better to accept crumbs of love than risk being alone. So when he cheats and she finds out, something inside her doesn't see this as an uncrossable red line. Sees it as one more test of how much she can endure to prove she's worthy of being loved. Her unconscious whispers, if I can forgive this, if I can make this relationship work even after the betrayal, I'll finally prove I'm strong enough, that my love is big enough, that I am enough. But the devastating truth is this: she's not forgiving him. She's betraying herself. And until she realizes this, she'll keep accepting behaviors that violate her dignity, all in the name of a love that hurts her more than it nurtures her. As she tries to rebuild trust, the symptoms become increasingly toxic and invisible. She develops pathological hypervigilance. She checks his phone, smells his clothes, analyzes every delay, every changed password, every new name that appears. She becomes a detective in the relationship that should be her safe harbor. And she lives in constant anxiety. She starts developing betrayal trauma, which psychologists recognize as a form of PTSD. She has flashbacks of the discovery, nightmares, panic attacks out of nowhere. Her body doesn't forget, even when her mind tries to forgive. She goes through constant self-policing. She changes her hair, works out more, tries to be more interesting, more sexual, more everything, as if the problem had been her not being enough. As if she could transform herself into someone he doesn't cheat on. And most dangerous, she develops selective emotional amnesia. 6 months later, she no longer remembers the intensity of the pain. She remembers it hurt, but she doesn't remember how it hurt. And this makes her vulnerable to forgiving again, and again, and again. And she confuses forgiveness with recovery, when in reality she's just learning to live with chronic pain. This is the psychology of a woman who forgives infidelity. It's not just a decision to stay. It's a complex process of self-erasure, where she sacrifices pieces of her dignity to maintain the illusion that the relationship is still worth it. So what happens to this woman when she forgives and stays? She becomes the adult who doesn't trust anyone anymore. Not him, despite having said she forgave. And worse, not even herself. Because she broke her own promise not to accept disrespect. She becomes the woman who carries the weight of betrayal alone. Because he already apologized, so she can't talk about it anymore without being accused of not having truly forgiven. She swallows the pain so she won't be seen as resentful. She becomes the type of woman who gets triggered by everything, perfumes, names, places, can no longer feel total security, not even in good moments, obsessively compares herself to the other woman, feels shame for having stayed and hides it from friends, carries a muted anger that explodes in fights over small things. She inherits a life where she's always on guard, always expecting the next betrayal, always preparing for the next lie, and calls this rebuilding trust. But here's the truth nobody has the courage to say. Broken trust doesn't come back. It transforms into vigilance disguised as forgiveness. And she can try for years, can go to couples therapy, can do all the reconnection exercises, can promise herself she'll leave the past in the past. But every time he picks up his phone and smiles, she'll wonder, is it her? Every time he comes home late, she'll feel that tightness in her stomach. Every time he says I love you, a part of her will think, is it true or is it guilt? And this isn't a relationship. This is emotional prison for both of them. Now let's examine what really happens behind the scenes of forgiveness. Phase 1, the shock. First 48 hours. She doesn't eat, doesn't sleep. Her body is in trauma. He's desperate, crying, begging. She still doesn't know what to do. She just feels pain. Phase 2, the negotiation. He promises total transparency, access to everything, therapy, change, never again. And she wants so badly to believe that she grabs these promises like a lifeline. She decides to give one chance. Phase 3, the reconciliation honeymoon. First few weeks, he's perfect. Attentive, present, affectionate. She thinks, see, it was worth forgiving. He really changed. She even feels more connected than before. The trauma created intensity that she confuses with depth. Phase 4, the return to reality. 2-3 months later, he goes back to being normal. And normal means less effort. She starts feeling like she's the only one carrying the weight of rebuilding. But she doesn't say anything because she already forgave. Phase 5, the triggers. Something sparks the memory. A song, place, a name. And she's back to the day of discovery. She cries. She confronts. He gets irritated. You said you'd forgiven. When is this going to end? And she feels guilty for still feeling pain. Phase 6, resignation or liberation. Either she accepts she'll live like this forever, with chronic distrust disguised as a relationship, or she finally understands. She didn't forgive. She just postponed leaving. One of the most important questions she needs to ask herself now isn't should I forgive or not, but rather what am I really forgiving? And at what cost? Because forgiving infidelity isn't just about letting go of the hurt. It's about accepting that he lied to her, looking in her eyes, He exposed her to risks both emotional, physical, and sexual. He chose his pleasure over her emotional safety. He broke the foundation of the relationship, which is trust. He made her feel insufficient when the problem was always him. And she can forgive all of this if she wants. But she can't pretend there isn't a price. The price almost always is her peace of mind, her self-esteem, her ability to trust again. Pieces of her dignity she'll never fully recover. Years of her life trying to fix something he broke. And until she faces this price head-on, she'll keep paying without even realizing it. This is how she stops forgiving automatically, not by being harder, but by being more honest about what she's really accepting. This is how she recovers her power, not by ending things impulsively, but by consciously deciding if the relationship is still worth what it costs her. This is how she frees herself from guilt, not by proving she's strong enough to forgive, but by recognizing that some things shouldn't be forgiven. And that's the truth nobody tells her when she decides to stay. She can forgive, but she'll carry the scar. And in moments of vulnerability, that wound will hurt again. The question isn't whether she's capable of forgiving. The question is whether she wants to live with that wound forever. And she needs to understand, it's possible to forgive and still leave. Forgiving doesn't mean staying. Forgiving means releasing the poison so it doesn't destroy her from within. But she can release the poison and release the person. In fact, sometimes the only way to truly forgive is by putting enough distance to heal without interference. So if there's a woman listening who forgave infidelity or is thinking about forgiving, certain truths need to be acknowledged. She's not an idiot. She's trying to save something she invested years building. She's not weak. She was just taught that love means suffering and still staying. She's not alone. Millions of incredible women are in this same dilemma. But being in good company doesn't make the choice more right. And this must also be understood. Not every infidelity is unforgivable. But not every forgiveness is healthy. If she's going to stay, let it be because he did individual therapy, not just couples. He took total responsibility without buts, without blaming her. He showed real change for prolonged time. She really wants to stay. She's not staying out of fear of being alone. She can imagine a future where she doesn't live in constant vigilance. If she's going to stay and none of these things are true, she's not rebuilding. She's just waiting for the next destruction. But there's hope, and hope isn't in him never cheating again. Hope is in her finally placing her own boundaries as sacred. And this can mean forgiving and staying, but with non-negotiable conditions. Forgiving and leaving because some things don't get fixed, not forgiving and leaving because she doesn't need to forgive to move forward, giving herself time to feel before making any decision. There's no universal right answer. There's only the right answer for her. And no, it won't be quick. It won't be clean. There will be days she wakes up and thinks I should have left. And days she thinks I made the right choice. But one thing must be non-negotiable. She cannot lose herself in the process of forgiving someone. If at the end of rebuilding she looks in the mirror and no longer recognizes the woman she was, the one who laughed easily, trusted, gave herself without fear, then the price was too high. Because she can forgive his betrayal, but she should never forgive her own betrayal against herself. She deserved someone for whom cheating was never an option. She deserved a love that protected her, not destroyed her. She deserved not to have to choose between her dignity and her relationship. And maybe she didn't have that, but she still has an entire life ahead. And this time she can choose differently. Not choosing men who swear they'll never cheat. They all swear. But choosing to never negotiate with her own dignity again. The type of choice that says, I can forgive, but I won't forget who I am in the process. And if there's someone listening now with tears in their eyes, it's because a part of them knows the truth. She doesn't need to prove anything by staying. She doesn't need to be strong enough to endure. And now, finally, she can make the right choice. Not the choice people expect. Not the choice that's easier. But the choice that returns her to herself. The choice that says, I forgive, but I don't stay. Or I stay, but I'll never be the same and that's okay. Or even, I still don't know. And I give myself permission not to know. Because the only unforgivable betrayal is the one she commits against herself. And that one she'll never commit again.